They looked flawless on screen, the audacious pirate and the unflinching heroine riding out storms of chaos and charm. But behind the cameras on Pirates of the Caribbean, it wasn't nearly as easy as it looked. Keira Knightley was only 19 when she walked onto that enormous set beside Johnny Depp, whose mercurial energy colored every scene. Years later, she's finally opening up about what it truly felt like. What did she notice? What did she carry? And why speak now after so long? Before she was a household name, Keira Knightley was a 19-year-old, stepping into a world far bigger than she imagined. The year was 2002, and Hollywood buzzed about Disney's bold gamble, swashbuckler based on a theme park ride. It sounded risky, even a little absurd to some. For Keira, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl felt like a dream break. Fresh off Bend It like Beckham, she suddenly found herself cast opposite Johnny Depp, one of the industry's most magnetic and unpredictable presences. Keira later admitted she never expected a cultural juggernaut. "I thought it would be a fun summer job," she joked. That summer job became years of sequels, global press. And the role that defined her early career, Elizabeth Swann, the governor's daughter, who grows into a fearless pirate, what she didn't anticipate were the off-camera challenges that would shadow the triumphs. Johnny Depp was already a legend. Known for disappearing into eccentric outsiders, he inspired admiration and a touch of weariness. His reputation on set, a brilliant original who moved to his own rhythm. It's unpredictable, intense, and sometimes untouchable. Keira, by contrast, was learning to navigate the politics of a massive studio machine. The power gap wasn't only age, it was legacy. The characters' chemistry popped from day one. Elizabeth's daring and Jack Sparrow's beautiful disorder played like waves colliding. Keira hit her marks with precision. Johnny riffed and remixed. For a classically trained teenager, that was both exhilarating and unnerving. You never knew what Johnny would do next, one crew member recalled. He'd improvise, provoke, test reactions. That volatility could be magic, and it could also be chaos. At first, Keira absorbed the spontaneity, eager to learn. Watching depth work was like seeing charisma performed live. But over time, she felt the weight of an unspoken order running the show. If Johnny shifted a beat or reinvented a moment, the rest of the production flexed to meet him. The film sailed past the tension to become a phenomenon, and Keira's star shot upward. Awards chatter, magazine covers, breathless predictions. Yet behind the red carpets lay the pressure of being the youngest among veterans and the reality of behaviors she sometimes didn't understand or couldn't square with her comfort. Looking back, she stands at the intersection of awe and unease. It was extraordinary, she's reflected, and it also taught me how small you can feel in a giant machine. That machine wasn't only the movie. It was the hierarchy, the stardom, and the unwritten code of silence that pressed everyone into line. When Keira first met Johnny Depp, she met a myth. He wasn't just an actor. He was Hollywood's riddle, an artist who built a career on misfits and rebels. His eyes could flick from playfulness to danger, his low draw from a joke to a warning. He pulled people in while keeping them guessing. On Pirates, that magnetism became a force field. Keira was barely 19. Johnny was 40. Their lives were from different worlds. Depp had decades of acclaim. Edward Scissorhands, Donnie Brasco, Sleepy Hollow, work that made him, in many eyes, untouchable. When he arrived as Captain Jack, he didn't just play a part. He reset expectations. He slurred lines, stumbled with purpose, gave Jack a tipsy musicality that rattled executives at first and then won over the world. Nobody else could have made Jack Sparrow, Keira would say. He pulled it off by making it alive. Alongside respect came awareness of power. When Johnny spoke, things paused. Directors adjusted. Scenes bent. Not out of fear alone, but a blend of difference and uncertainty. His charm wasn't warm and fuzzy. It was hypnotic, the kind that kept everyone slightly off balance. Keira adapted. She mirrored his flashes of invention, learned to surf his shifting tempo, and used the unpredictability to sharpen her own choices. That flexibility became her shield. Still, she noticed the distance forming. The careful way people moved around him, as if they might be overpowered if they weren't cautious. On screen, their chemistry was undeniable. Off-screen, the gravitational pull was unequal. He was the lead, the franchise face, the fulcrum. She was an ascendant talent, learning to hold her ground in his orbit. The admiration she felt would with time reveal a complexity she couldn't ignore. Between crashing waves and swordplay, something subtler began to press on Keira, a signal she couldn't name at first. There was no single blow-up or headline-grabbing incident. It was an accumulation. Moments small enough to overlook yet sharp enough to leave a trace. The kind of things that live in muscle memory long after someone yells cut. Johnny's presence set the weather. Some days he was lighthearted, generous, laughing with the crew. Other days he was distant and unreadable. For a teenager still calibrating her footing, that unpredictability confused the senses. She admired his invention. No one else could have made Jack Sparrow breathe like that. But admiration slowly wove itself with unease, as she clocked how easily the whole atmosphere could pivot around him. There were jokes, some inspired, some cutting. His humor might turn dark, his aides skid across a line. Keira would laugh them off, part nerves, part respect for seniority. No one wanted to be labeled as the one who couldn't take a joke. Boundaries blurred in service of process, and edgy got a pass because of who delivered it. The POI line shoots amplified everything. Heat, exhaustion, long days, and little privacy. In tight quarters, rumors traveled fast and space felt scarce. Keira noticed how quickly the crew rallied to accommodate Depp, how gravity pulled toward him. At 19, she didn't have all the words for what she felt. She just listened to that quiet internal nudge that something wasn't quite right, then told herself to stay focused on lines, fittings, fight choreography. Anything she could control in the swirl. Her scenes with Johnny became careful choreography. When he surged, she matched. When he cooled, she gave space, not fear survival. You learn people fast, she'd say later. Especially when you're young and trying not to step on anyone's toes. She was no fool. She sensed when the line between acting and reality thinned. The rakish sway and slurred bravado that defined Jack sometimes slipped into the day itself, and that could charge the air in ways that weren't scripted. She would never call her experience abusive. It wasn't that simple. It was 1,000 small imbalances that together created pressure. The feeling the ground could tilt without warning. Every production has moments that test an actor's balance. Scenes where performance brushes up against personal space. Pirates had more than a few for Keira. The scale was enormous, the stakes high, and the cameras relentless. Behind the breathtaking frames were takes that left her unsettled, wrung out and unsure where professionalism ended and discomfort began. Depp's process was singular. He liked to play until a scene felt alive, even if that meant veering off the page. Often it was brilliant, the kind of lightning that made Jack iconic. But for Keira, the same lightning could sting. You never quite knew what would happen when the camera rolled. A crew member remembered he'd shift tone, drop in new lines, move closer than anticipated. Everyone adjusted. One close exchange between Jack and Elizabeth, meant to be playful and charged, suddenly tilted when Depp leaned further into flirtation than rehearsed. Keira kept her cool, held her lines, and got through it. After cut, she laughed and moved on. Later, she admitted the moment slid in a way we hadn't planned. Not scandalous, just unsettling. A reminder that spontaneity sometimes drew from her reserves. Other days, the strain wasn't physical closeness, but climate. Johnny's mood could redraw the map. If he arrived buoyant, the set rose with him. If quiet, the whole place hushed. Keira described walking into scenes like stepping onto uncertain ground. You didn't know which version of a scene partner you'd get? Add the media frenzy. More interviews, gossip loops. Speculation about dynamics with Depp and Orlando Bloom, and the pressure compounded. Still, she learned to ride the waves. She offered respect while protecting herself, mirroring when it helped, holding back when it didn't. She was astonishingly composed for her age, a team member recalled. She chose her moments to speak, and her moments to be still. It became an armor. The hardest part wasn't a single scene. It was the silence after, the industry's reward for endurance. Hollywood prizes. The smile, the laugh, the ability to smooth the edges. Keira did it not from naivety, but because she understood how fast a young woman's reputation could be bruised. In Hollywood, silence can be a career strategy and a weight. During the Pirates years, Keira kept public comments careful and gracious. She praised the ensemble and Depp's artistry. What she didn't say, the pauses between her sentences, said something too. In Hollywood, silence can be a career strategy and a weight. During the Pirates years, Keira kept public comments careful and gracious. She praised the ensemble and Depp's artistry. What she didn't say, the pauses between her sentences, said something too. Silence for her wasn't ignorance. It was survival. As a teenager among powerful men, the unspoken rule was simple. Keep the peace. Don't rock the boat. She'll watch.